What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. People, KG is back, and we're talking not transfers, but big things that are important to the future of Leeds United. It's the leadership group has been announced, a new captain is in situ, and a new era has begun, people. About time, but a new era has finally begun under the 49er Enterprises and leadership. And I'm interested to get your thoughts on it because obviously we all had our ideas of who would be the captain. Well, it's official, and we're going to read through that in a bit. Also, going to touch a bit on Willie Gnonto as well because I want to give my revised thoughts about Willie Gnonto in terms of me wanting him to stay, and I'm going to make my reasons perfectly clear. Before I get into that, like, subscribe, and drop your comments below. And listen, thank you to all existing members. Members are people that go above and beyond to support me, which is really appreciated. So if you're a member, thank you. And if you want to become a member, the link is in the description, or it's next to the join button. Sorry, next to the subscribe button, which says join, and that goes a long way. We're going to speak about, we're going to speak about that tomorrow. One thing I want to say though, listen, as a streamer, sometimes you know when you've had a great stream, and sometimes you know when you've had a bad one. You don't really come out and say it. But I did not like today's stream. I didn't like anything about it. I like some of the content I was saying, but the subject matter and how it came about. If you've been a long-term subscriber of mine, you know that's not usually how I roll, and I didn't like it. It didn't sit well with me. And that happens sometimes. That's the life of a live streamer. Sometimes you'll have great streams. Sometimes you're on where you go, ugh, man, I wish I could have that one back. But yeah, if you notice in that one, the comments aren't even turned on. I've just like left it to wither away. I don't even want to talk about that stream. It's just horrible. Like, I'm not going to give specifics as to why it was horrible to me. But if you're a long-term subscriber of mine, maybe you'll even know why if you can read in between the lines. But yeah, this is more my thing in terms of this, and it's just a learning point going forward. And as I say, people, you learn something every day. You know, you got to learn from your mistakes and all that. Shout out to everyone in the building. We are Leeds. Good evening. Michael saying evening. Yeah, and listen, I like is free, so please do it for me, man. Algorithm, as it goes. Gavin saying no problem, case you all have off days. Yeah, and listen, that happens, and that's it as well. Being a live stream, because these things aren't edited, they're not recorded, they're not made into a nice little neat podcast for you. You'll get me whether I've got wart on my nose or hay fever. You get me at all sorts. So that's just how it is. And what's the saying? Remember how it goes. Let me try and get this in one take. If you can't handle me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. Hey, got it. Uh, evening, Jasby. Yeah. So people, signing that other guy, KG. I don't know, Gavin. In regards to that, I know who you talk about. Is it the Jesper Lindstrom guy? I think. I don't know if that affects Willie Gnonto. I don't know, but you would think something's got to give because they've got about 5 wingers at the club. But that would be up to them to decide. But we'll speak about that in a bit. And listen, big up to everyone. Jeffrey, evening, Cage. It's all good. Yeah, I know. I can rely on my community to forget. I give you good premium stuff every other day. Sometimes I'm going to put out a stinker. One of those. Sometimes I'll give you or a missed chance from underneath the bar, but I'd still expect you to sing my name like the crowd do for a particular striker we have at the club. But anyway, listen, people. Yeah. Oh, is he attacking midfielder? Fairs. All right, listen, let's get into our business first, because this is something obviously that we've been waiting. I would say anticipating for myself personally, because I do think captains and leaders of a team do define where you go as a football club. I think they make a mark of what your club's trying to do, whether it is trying to settle, whether they're content with mediocrity, or whether they want to go to the next level. And Leeds United, we'll go through the article in a bit, but the tweet put out, Daniel Farke announces his leadership group for the 24-25 campaign with Ethan Ampadu named club captain. So I would just say that in Ampadu, he was one of my picks. I went with Joe Rodon. I wasn't unhappy if Pascal Struijk had kept it as well. But Ethan Ampadu made a lot of sense to me. I've given my reasons on videos before, but this guy's been leading teams since he was 16-year-old at Exeter. He's been in places where he's gone out on loan and has been one of the leaders of the group. And this is a guy that's young still. He's very young still. And he goes into established changing rooms and tries to change the culture himself. And that goes a long way for me. He's vocal on the pitch as well, as we've seen. He will sort out problems, anything that needs sorting out on the pitch, which is what I look for in a captain. I like vocal captains. I know you can lead by example, which is another way of captain. You know, when Thierry Henry's got a captain armband, you're not looking at Thierry as your leader, but he'll lead by example of being just great, won't he? But in Ethan Ampadu's case, I think it is a really good choice. Wilf here saying great choice. Yeah. And Gavin here, Ampadu speaks really well and understands the club fan base. Yeah, we'll get into what he says upon taking the role. But my thoughts is I'm absolutely delighted that it's Ethan Ampadu. I'd have been fine with him, would have been fine with Joe Roden, would have been fine with Stroud. But when Gavin says this about speaking really well, that is one of the things for me. And maybe that's where he has the edge on someone like a Joe Roden. I think that Ampadu probably will take those duties on board and just probably deliver them better overall, maybe. Um, Sub here, and this is a question that I was going to ask you guys. So Sub has gotten ahead of me. Are you surprised Roden didn't feature at all? I am. I am surprised actually. I'm quite surprised with the third dude on the right there, being one of the vice captains. But again, we'll speak about that in a bit. But yeah, I would have thought Roden would have been the third in this group. And if you're talking Strauch, Ampadu, Roden, hey, that's all winners for me. That's all good for me. But yeah, we'll speak about Melee in just a minute. Yeah. Oh, no, 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 no. Can't put any sheep stuff, Jeffrey. But yeah, it was obviously going to be a Welsh guy with Daniel Farke here. Um, yeah, Roden ahead of Mez. I think a lot of people will say the same. It would look very weird for me. I'm not going to lie to you. We'll speak about Meslier in a bit, but let's just say Strauch or Ampadu are off the pitch for whatever reason. But even though Ampadu, we saw last year, he's very durable. But you know, sending offs can happen, little injuries can happen. And if one of those two aren't on the pitch and you see Meslier trying to put that captain's armband, I think it will just fall down his arm anyway. I'm not sure when they might have to just tighten up the Velcro a little. But yeah, it would look a bit unfamiliar to be that when he is not vocal, he's not commanding in any way, shape, or form. Maybe it's just one of those things where he's been here so long that he automatically gets it like that. Who knows? Um, yeah, and this is it as well. AUFC Sweden makes a great point. Hold on a minute. Yeah, yeah, that was a bit. I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm sorry. But LUFC Sweden saying one captain, but 6 or 7 leaders, very important squad. Yeah, 100. We've got leaders all over the place. And I think you've even seen Joe Rothwell's quotes lately. Even though he's only here on loan, he's assuming himself as a 29-year-old being one of the older people in the changing room as someone that can lead. Leadership comes in all shapes and forms. We know that there's usually about 6, 7 captains in the most successful teams. And that's what we're looking for here, I feel. But you announcing the captain and vices straight off, I think that sends out a good message. We're not leaving it lingering into the season or so wondering, okay, Ampadu's got it this week. Why's Roden got it this week? Why Stroud got it another week? We know now who is the club captain. And for me, it's a good thing. Wilf here with a super chat here. Bigging up Meslier. Bigging Meslier up might give him more confidence and up his game. Yeah, I don't believe in that stuff, Wilf. Thank you for the super chat, but I don't believe in that stuff in terms of a captain's armband raising someone's performance. I've rarely seen it. If it's happened, I think it's the exception to the rule. I've never seen it where someone gets a captain's armband and all of a sudden they're 10 times the player they were without it. I just don't think that. But maybe that could be something. I don't know. But if you're going to get some more commanding performances from Meslier, even just like 5%, then you've got improvement out of him, haven't you? I guess. But I just don't believe in that kind of thing. But if you do, by all means, put it in the comments. Caspadinho. Meslier can't even command his own defense, let alone a whole team. That's tremendous. Let's get into the article. Yeah, let's get into the press release. Am I on the page? I am on the page. Awesome. There we are. There we are in big. The 3 leaders right there. Captain Amps right there. I like it, man. I've got to say, the more I look at it, the more I'm happy with it still. Leeds United manager has today announced his leadership group for the upcoming 24-25 campaign. Ethan Ampadu has been named captain with Pascal Strauch and Illan Meslier named as vice captains. Welsh, yeah, you know me, I don't want to do all of that stuff. Strauch has been here for 6.5 years. Awesome. Meslier arrived in 2019. Yep. Okay, here's what Farke said. Yeah, let's get to this bit. Ethan, Pascal, and Illan have all played such a big role in the team since I arrived last summer. I believe all 3 players have a really strong I believe with all 3 players, we have a really strong leadership group who are respected by everybody, which is obviously important. Both Ethan and Pascal proved last season they can handle the responsibility of leading the team, and I look forward to them continuing to do so in the upcoming campaign. Ampadu, he made his words clear, and if you want to hear him say it, it is actually on the Leeds United socials. It's an honor to be made captain of this amazing football club. I know how much responsibility this role carries. Last season, it was a privilege to lead this side out on so many occasions, and I'm delighted to have now been given this opportunity. I will give my all for the badge, and I hope to lead by example both on and off the pitch, following the footsteps of so many great captains in the past. And yeah, listen, I love that from Ethan in terms of what he said there, and he's right. You know, there's been some brilliant captains at this football club, but I just hope now with this change being official, that we are being ushered into a new era where mediocrity isn't accepted. And as Matteo Joseph has said in interviews, and I've even heard Dan James say it recently, that standards are being set and no one can step below them. Because for me, far too long, doesn't matter what the previous captain's done off the pitch, which has been brilliant. I don't think the standard of football has been or footballer has been good enough over the past few years. I think it's been shocking. In fact, the way the dressing room has been broken up on a few occasions, especially when we got relegated. You know, think of that Palace game. I'm hoping now that this is a new era of success, people. I want success, and I can keep on getting hammered for it. That I will always stand on Leeds United being a successful football team. That's what I want. I want to see my team lift trophies. I want to do it while I still got vision and everything. You know what I mean? I still want to see this football team become a successful football club. I mean, look, you know, some people are content with the football club just existing. I'm not. And in those kind of scenarios, you've seen what's happening with Bordeaux lately. They've just accepted being relegated to the third tier of French football. You know, big Bordeaux. You know, I don't want Leeds United to ever get there again. We've done that before when we, you know, crashed out financially. Hopefully now under the 49ers enterprises, Ethan Ampadu as captain, we're being led into a new era of success. That's what I want here. I want standards to be set and met, and that starts with the leadership group at the club. In terms of Meslier being here, that you know, and interested to get your comments now. But obviously, we was hearing of interest from Marseille before, and it was a bit before the PSR period that we was hearing about Marseille. Marseille have definitely got money to spend, but whether they thought Meslier was worth the money that was being quoted is a different story, because we see Marseille being linked with 20-30 million players. I think they're in for Eddie Nketiah. I think they're looking for a loan with obligation for next summer for around 30 million, which is insane for Eddie Nketiah. But it looks like now this is a statement from Leeds United. Daniel Farke could say Meslier is my number one, and he will be here for better for worse in terms of how you like a goalkeeper. I know there's a lot of Meslier FC fans out there, so that's cool. But yeah, I think it shows a little intent that Meslier will be here this season, no matter what. Um, yeah, a lot of people are echoing this, and if you agree with this, put it in the comments as well. Thought Roden would be more of a captain shout than Mez. I'm with you as well, and I think Joe Roden epitomized Leeds United last season just alone. So it's not like he's an unknown quantity coming in. We saw him last year, very vocal. You know, was very. He was very visual with what he believed as well. We saw in a few instances where he didn't agree with certain things where the team was falling apart, especially towards the end of the season, and he was there visible. He wasn't hiding. So for me, that's captaincy. But that goes to what LUFC Sweden said earlier. Yes, we've got 3 name captains, but you've still got another couple on the pitch as well that won't have the armband. Yeah, he will still be vocal, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Ben G here saying the club is on a roll at the moment. The on-pitch stuff needs to be as good as off the pitch from now on. Yeah, exactly, 100. And that starts with it though. You have to be right off the pitch to be good on it. I do believe that. I don't think you can have crumbling foundations. It's the foundations have to be solid in order to build on the pitch. And I think this is a move that definitely signifies that we're going in that direction. And I'm happy with it. I'll just make my feelings clear. I'm very happy Ethan Ampadu is the captain. Hopefully he continues in that successful reign, that successful mold of when we was a real good football club, and he can usher us into a new successful era. Gavin, that could be a point. Maybe Rodon didn't want it, and that's something else you got to consider. Sometimes players don't want the burden of being captain. Gavin's absolutely right. Maybe he just didn't want it. That could be it. But listen, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got that, and that is it in terms of that. Before I move on to just for my Gnonto chat, The new kit, I think everyone's seen it now, right? But it's officially going to be unveiled tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm hoping that there's no alterations because you know me, I don't even like colors on kits, but this one looks all right. And I wouldn't be buttoning up a shirt, man. That looks a bit square for me. You know, I leave the button, the button undone, show the chest a little. You know how it goes. So yeah, I think I like the yellow kit, but I really do like that pinkish, purplish one, whatever it is. I'm looking forward to seeing that one too. I don't know if anyone again, I know I'm making this like almost like a Villa channel these days. Do you see Villa's roll out for their Adidas kit today? With Ozzy Osbourne, Akban Lahore was in there, and a few other things. That was a really good rollout for Villa, man. Just shout out to them. Yeah, Caspadinho, button undone, collar up. Yeah, man. Yeah, collars are just so 90s for me. I don't know what it is about collars on football shirts, but when I see them now, they do remind me like of like tennis shirts or dart shirts almost. Yeah, they just look a bit odd on football shirts these days. You know what else looks a little bit odd on a football pitch now, which is crazy? Black boots. Does anyone not see when they see a player with black boots these days? Don't they look at them and think, man, that don't look right? Because boots are all like fluorescent these days. They're all different colors. When I see a pair of black boots, although I respect it, I'm like, looks weird to me. You know what I mean? Uh, let's have a look. Hannah here saying, I can't wait for the third kit. I like the away. I like the away, but colors don't work for me being a woman. Well, why? Why doesn't a color work on a woman? I don't get it. Why? I don't get that. Honestly, I'm not being funny. I don't understand that, Hannah. Maybe you can explain. But yes, so look out for that, and we'll speak about the kit tomorrow when it's fully unveiled and we get the full Adidas rollout. Now, I just wanted to talk about Willie Gnonto just briefly because I've made my stance before in terms of Willie Gnonto, where I know that he's a top level footballer and he'll thrive in the top league. I've said before that I want him to be gone, not gone because I don't want him here. I think he's a fine footballer, but just because the fans don't forgive him in general, and he's always going to get crap, even for any little thing he does wrong. But I decided, man, I've been saying when I was watching that clip today. I don't know if you've seen that clip of Nanto in training today, where talking about, I can't remember what he says in it, but he's just banging in the goals. He's just hitting one off the bar, just smacking them in. But I just realized, if I'm gonna let things like that cloud my judgment in terms of what other people say, then I'm not doing myself or willing onto a service. Because if he's willing to stay, if he was to stay, then I'm cool with it too. And I would absolutely love Willie Nanto to say because he's a level above a lot of what we've got here, including Dan James. And I always find the thing funny because I love Dan James in this division, so no one can say anything against me on that. But people talk about Dan James was on it in the final. I think people forgetting the whole team was absolutely garbage for 75 minutes, which is why when Dan James hit the bar, it was like, why didn't Dan James start? Well, I'll revert to the previous game against Norwich because it was Willie Gnonto that put in one hell of a ball that I think it was Peru who scored and he couldn't miss. It was one hell of a ball, but that's what you're getting with Willie Gnonto, and that's why you can't drop him in the final because he was on form in that semi-final. But just in general, when it comes to Willie Gnonto and comments I always made about him, somebody actually left a long ass comment where I didn't read all of it. I read the first few lines. I was like, ugh, boring. But I was like, this is why I can't let other people's judgment cloud mine. And that's what I kind of did with Willie Gnonto. So again, I'm very strong-willed, very strong-minded, but even in some areas, I'm thinking more of it would be just nicer for him to have a fresh start somewhere else than deal with all the crap he keeps getting at this football club. And when he does something right, people are singing about his dick. So you know what I mean. So, but I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment. I would like him to stay. I think it's unlikely though because I think he's the more affordable out of Somerville and Gnonto. I think he will go. He's definitely got the ability to play at a high level, and he's still only 20 years old. Going to be 21 in November, man. He's still got so many tiers to go, so many levels to reach, and he's going to reach them. He will. Mikey here saying Gnonto looks on it in training for me. He does. He does. Direct saying fans need to get over. Yeah, it's selective though, direct, because some players can be absolute. They can be nobodies at the football club. They can be poor, but fans will still love them because they bat their chest or do something, passion merchanty like that. But Nanto, like, as I said last year, he made a mistake, following bad agents' advice, and he's since switched his agents, which tells you a lot. But some people just can't get over it. But there's players that are rinsing the club these days or latching on back onto the club when they made moves to leave. Yes, they didn't go on strike, but they still made moves to leave in ways where we needed them to stay and they wanted to go. But now they've retired, they've come back. Hasn't worked for them at their other clubs that they went to since, and now it's all Leeds, Leeds, Leeds again. I'll put Russ McCormack and Becchio in that. You know what I mean? McCormack, thinking he's like the Lionel Messi of the championship, has two subsequent moves and is a failure at both of them. Both of the teams go up once he's left. I think that tells you everything. But now, since it didn't work at those clubs, it's all Leeds, 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 Leeds again. Becchio, I want Premier League football. Norwich get him. They see that he's got the first touch of an absolute anchor, and he doesn't get no football there. So you know what it is when Becchio retires? It's Leeds, Leeds, Leeds again. Beckford the same. Other players have been able to make mistakes, and they've been older than Gnonto at the time as well. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to let any of that cloud my judgment. I would love Gnonto to stay, but if he is to leave, it doesn't surprise me because he is a top level player. Um, let's have a look here. Yeah. I'm not going. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into. I've spoken about that before. I'm not even going to go into it. Gavin saying Ipswich offer 18 million for Jack Clark. Is that right, Gavin? Because Gavin, sometimes you give me good info, and then other times you give me jokes. All right. Shall I have a look while I'm live now? But that is it. I just want to make my stance clear on Nanto, because in the keep bench sell video, I said that I would like him to go for a fresh start elsewhere. I would like him to stay, okay, because I know what he's capable of as a footballer. So there we are. Let me have a look, people. Uh, Jack Clark. I mean, I don't know why I'm looking at this, because this doesn't affect us. I don't know why I'm looking at this, Gavin. Ipswich lining up at 18 million pounds. Well, we'll see if Sunderland accept it. I don't know why I'm even looking at that, Gavin. It's got nothing to do with us, has it? Uh, let's have a look. Yeah, Scott here saying 8 goals in 19 starts is not his proper position, is a good return. Yeah, that's another thing that people forget as well, because Gnonto is actually an inside forward. He plays off the left, but obviously Somerville is on another level. He's cooking at another gas. So he was going to stay there. But Gnonto and his development with Byram, no, not Byram, Archie Gray, sorry, down the right, was wonderful. It was working lovely at times. The combinations they were doing last year or making was lovely at times. But Gnonto was playing right wing when essentially he's a left winger. And I would even put Gnonto up front at times. I think at times we could have used him with the way that he's a shoot first guy. But yeah, it is what it is, people. It is what it is. Gavin asking Gnonto price. I think if we're asking, say, 40 for Somerville, I would say Gnonto is probably going to come in maybe around 20 or 25. I'm interested to hear that kind of conversation with people. I'm not interested to hear in terms of what you think about his personality and nothing, because quite frankly, football fans are lemmings. And when one person says something, even if someone else doesn't believe it, they'll go, oh, yeah, he does do that, doesn't he? So, yeah, I mean, what price do you think he would go for? I would think it's going to be between 20 and 25. That's what I think. Um, let's have a look here. Yeah, I know, Mark. I did this earlier in the stream that is now being Chris Benoit out of my catalog. I mean, I'm gonna leave it up just so people know what I'm talking about, and maybe people can see exactly why I just detest that stream that I did earlier. But yeah, I did say that. But I would think that, leaving Schmodix out of it, but a player of that caliber, if we're bringing in somebody like that, it means for me that we're losing someone big. Because the team is stacked in that area. I mean, we've got Peru, we've got Jorginho, Somerville, Gnonto, Dan James, Mateo Joseph. That area is absolutely packed up. And at this point in time as well, people still got Gelhart. So someone is going to have to leave. And I don't think it would be a Gelhart. I think he'd probably stay for the squad if him and Farke have talked that out. I think it would be one of our big hitters, I'm afraid. So that's the yin and yang to that. Because I would like another, top forward in there, but it's going to be at the expense of one of ours. Yeah, it was a non-story, absolutely, and that's why I just don't want to speak about it, Gavin. And Aronson, yep, Jeffrey again. See, that's why I'm saying we are so stacked, people. Even though I think Aronson will probably pay around the 8, maybe a hybrid 8-10. We've got so many options in that area. It means that if we are getting somebody else, it means somebody big is leaving. But yeah, it is. This is Jasby. This is what I'm on. If we were talking pure passion merchant, keep what we got. Let's go. I'm all over that. Every time I see a new video with these guys training or the pictures, it just makes me think, please, guys, give us 1 year. If you give us 1 year, we can all go up to the Premier League together. It's very much reminiscent of when we came up from League One. And it was like Beckford, Johnson, Schmeichel, and all these guys. Like, please, if you all just stay together, I think we can go up from the championship. Of course, Beckford left for free for Everton, which was his right. Test himself out at Premier League level. Cool. But yeah, if we just could have just kept that team together, I think we would have gone to the Premier League sooner. But it's all ifs and buts, isn't it? All ifs and buts. Jack saying no Bamford in the leadership group. I mean, maybe that's a talking point. I don't know, Jack. I'm still hoping that we're trying to do something behind the scenes to sever this man's contract. Maybe, plant some evidence on him of something very salacious. One of those called SVU on the scene. Now, I'm just joking. But I would like them to be working on a deal to sever ties with this man. But I think it's going to be impossible. I think we'll probably talk about that next year. But I just don't want to see another year of this guy in the shirt. Honestly, the shirts are too lovely to see Bamford in them, I'm afraid. But look, we're just going to have to wait and see. Yeah, that whole what shirt am I wearing? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy stuff. um, let's have a look here. Jeffrey here. Do you think DeBayo will stay in the team? I like what he offered. I think if he impresses Farke enough, I think that he will get that last centre back slot. Because if you're talking Verber, Strout, Rodon, and then DeBayo is somebody that comes in on an emergency or for the easier games, I should say, or maybe we get League One round. We got Middlesbrough first game, haven't we? So not even there possibly, but yeah, maybe so. If he impresses Farke, and you know what I'll say to this people, if he does impress, I'm cool with that because we've already got our three big centre backs there. It is now about getting someone who's happy to rotate. And I've said before, Amabama Deli, he's not going to come here to be fourth choice centre back. He's not. He's going to look for regular football, and he's not going to get it here, not with the players that we've got. So if it's going to be a DeBayo and Farke thinks he's got the ability to translate to the championship after impressing in the under-21s, I'm fine with it, honestly. As a fourth centre back, unless you're going to get someone that is really happy to sit on the bench at this stage, at whatever stage you are of their career, DeBayo would be good for me if Farke thinks he's good enough. Yeah, David Summer, man. Shame about Summer, man. Always injured, man. Shame about his knees, man, because he was man, he could hit them, man. Absolutely love summer. Summertime, man. Summertime badness. Uh it's a -1. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I don't know that Montero, I don't know what's happening with him. I don't know if he's even got a future at the football club. I have no idea what's happening with him. Obviously, I don't think he's gone on the tour. I don't know. I don't even know how old he is anymore. But yeah, wouldn't surprise to see him being moved on as well. But yeah, listen, people, that is it for the stream. I just wanted to make up for that one earlier as well. So I'm glad that the new captain's new came out. Glad to speak on Willie Gnonto and just say my piece and update that on my thoughts on Willie. If you haven't already, please hit a like on the video. It's free to do, helps me out immensely in terms of the channel being seen and more people seeing the videos, which obviously helps me a lot. Drop your comments below on the kit and the captain. No, not the kit, the captain, please. Not really bothered about Gnonto comments, people. I'll be real with you. So, yeah, listen, people, I'll see you in the next one. And, the next one will be tomorrow, talking about the new yellow kit. See you in the next one, people. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your evening.